So, have you ever stopped and thought, is this whole voting every few years thing the best we can do? I mean, really? Today, we're diving headfirst into a really fascinating prediction about how artificial intelligence could completely flip the script on democracy, moving us away from a system of messy compromise to one of pure, data-driven optimization. Okay, so to really get where this is all going, we need a quick roadmap of AI itself. The whole idea is based on three big phases. Right now, we're in the age of ANI, or artificial narrow intelligence. Think of all the generative AI tools we use. They're amazing at specific tasks. The next stop, predicted for around 2030, is AGI, artificial general intelligence. That's AI with human-level smarts across the board. But the real leap, the one that changes everything, is slated for around 2040, ASI, artificial superintelligence. We're talking about an intellect that is just light years beyond the smartest human who has ever lived. And that is the engine that could power this whole new way of governing. But before we can really appreciate a massive upgrade, we first have to admit that there are some bugs in our current system, right? Why does our democracy today feel like it's struggling to keep up with just how complex our world has become? I love how this slide frames democracy as like an old piece of software. And it makes so much sense when you think about it. Our system is low resolution. It tries to cram your unique, complex views and millions of others into one single person. It's infrequent. We get a real say maybe once every 4 years. And maybe most importantly, it's designed around conflict and competition. It's about winning and losing, not about finding the absolute best answer for everyone. Okay, so if our current system is a buggy operating system, how could a super intelligent AI be the ultimate patch? Well, the prediction breaks it down into 5 massive transformations. Let's get into the first one because it really shakes things up at the most fundamental level. So, this first change is probably the most radical one of all. We just get rid of politicians as our representatives. The whole idea of voting for a person to speak for you, well, it just becomes obsolete. So, what takes their place? Get this, instead of a person, you get a digital twin. This is your own personal AI that knows you better than you know yourself, your values, your beliefs, what you truly care about. And this digital twin acts as your direct voice in government, voting on your behalf on thousands of issues every single day in real time. Just imagine that, your opinion being perfectly represented on every single decision, not just on one day every few years. All right, the next upgrade completely changes the goal of politics. It stops being a fight, a battle between different sides trying to win. The entire focus shifts from conflict to optimization, just finding the most efficient, best possible path for society as a whole. So here's the crucial shift. We stop voting for who makes the decision, and we start voting on what we want to achieve. We literally set the priorities. We might say, as a society, we want to put an 80% weight on environmental protection and a 20% weight on economic freedom. And then the ASI does the how. It calculates the absolute best policies to hit those targets. This is a state known as Pareto optimality. The simplest way to think about that is, it's a solution where you can't make anyone better off without making someone else worse off. It's the peak of efficiency. It's not about compromise, it's about finding a bigger pie for everyone. Okay, this all sounds incredibly efficient, but it brings up a huge, and I mean huge, question. If the system is just optimizing for what the majority wants, what's to stop it from just completely ignoring smaller groups who have deeply held beliefs that just aren't as popular? And the proposed solution is, honestly, kind of brilliant. It's called quadratic voting. Let's break it down. Everybody gets a budget of voting credits. You can spend them on any issue you want, but, and here's the genius part, the price goes up exponentially. So your first vote on an issue might cost 1 credit, but your second vote costs 4. Your third costs 9. This means a passionate minority, a group that cares immensely about one single issue, can pool all their credits and have a huge impact, overpowering a lukewarm majority that doesn't really care that much. It's a system that weighs the intensity of your belief, not just the number of people who hold it. So, if you have an ASI figuring out the perfect policies, and a system like quadratic voting making sure everyone is heard fairly, well, what's the point of politicians and all that government bureaucracy anymore? They start to look pretty redundant. The new power structure is basically automated. The AI's optimal solutions get executed instantly using things like smart contracts on a blockchain. It's transparent, it's immediate, and there's literally no room for corruption or human error. So what do former politicians do? They evolve. They become communicators or philosophers. Their new job isn't to make deals in back rooms. It's to help all of us understand the choices the ASI gives us, to lead the big conversations about our values. Their role shifts from wielding power to nurturing wisdom. So let's put this all together and just look at the old world versus the new one side by side. The difference is pretty much night and day. This table really tells the whole story, doesn't it? It's a shift from something that happens at a single point in time every few years to a continuous, real-time line. We go from voting for flawed people to defining our deepest values. We replace messy, inefficient compromise with pure mathematical optimization. And maybe the most important thing, minority rights go from being something we hope for to something that's mathematically baked into the system's DNA. It is a total system overhaul. When you boil it all down, the prediction is that governance stops being a system we have to actively deal with, and it becomes an environment that we just live in. It's always on, it's always listening, it's always optimizing in the background. It's as seamless and invisible as the air we breathe. And this would free us up from all the political infighting to focus on a much, much bigger question. What do we, as a civilization, actually want to become? And that leaves us with this final, really profound question to chew on. In a world that is perfectly run, where the best possible choice is always calculated and implemented for us, how do we hold on to that feeling of being in charge of our own destiny? What does it mean to make a choice for yourself? That right there might be the biggest challenge of all in this potential new world. And it's definitely something we're thinking about.